Hello, 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 brothers and sisters. How you doing tonight? This is your brother Tony in the house. Come on in so you can listen to this content this evening. Got a good show for you tonight. Come on in. If you're at the back, come up to the wall at the front. There's something that you really need to know. This is for my brothers and my sisters. How you doing, Sister Chain? Come on in. This content is very, very important, my brothers and sisters, but this show is primarily for you sisters. You brother, you bear with me. I want to let you all know something. I do not side with men. I do not side with women, but it just depends on the content of whom I'm going to address it mostly to. But you better believe I'm going to bring the other gender to it. So this particular topic is very, very important. Brothers, you need to be a one particular type of man. Sister, you're going to see three types of men that I'm going to bring into your view, okay? You're going to be three types of men, but brother, you need to be one type of man out of the three, and I'm about to get into my point shortly. We're going to allow a few more people opportunity to come in so you can get to it. How you doing, Kim? How you doing, Sister Possible? How you doing? Come on in, brothers. Come on in, sisters. Good content tonight. You need to know about this. You will get some good learning tonight. All right. If this is your first time looking at this broadcast, allow me to introduce myself. My name is Tony M. Tooman. I talk about relationships. I talk about relationship pertaining today of a man and a woman, per se from a spiritual perspective. When I say spiritual, I'm talking about Adam and Eve. When you go to the book of Genesis, God had a unique relationship with the man Adam. Secondly, he had a unique relationship with the woman Eve. He represented the woman to the man Adam, and Adam said in the presence of God, bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh, I should call a woman because she's from man. So if you believe in any other type of relationship, brother and sister, you have what is called a free will. You can do whatever you choose to do, but I encourage you to look at this particular broadcast. Maybe you could get something out of it. I hope that you do. So with that said, my brother and sister, we're about to jump right into this content tonight. Tonight's topic is three types of men that a woman must know about. Again, tonight's topic is three types of men that a woman must know about. Now, sister, if you are planning on being in a serious, committed, and covenant relationship, there are three types of men that you need to know about. Now, let us establish this first. We're going to lay down the foundations. We're going to go to God's word and lay down the foundation before I get into this broadcast. As it is written in Matthew chapter 7, 16, 17. Again, that's Matthew 7, 16 through 17. Matthew 7, 16 through 17. Jesus is doing the talking, and he's talking about a certain type of individuals, right? Now, Jesus said, by their fruits, you will recognize them. Do people pick grapes and thorn bushes or figs and thistles? Likewise, every good tree bears good fruit, but a bad tree bears bad fruit. Now, with that said, my brother, so you got to understand this. If I give you an apple seed and you stick it in the ground, the only type of tree that is going to grow is an apple tree. It's not going to be no orange, no pear, no nothing else. Whatever fruit that comes from that seed, that's the what's going to be produced. That's just like a man. And you sister, you need to understand this. Any woman that decides to get married, there are three types of men that you need to be aware of, and you need to exercise what is called your discernment before you say I do. Listen carefully. Sisters, and this, brother, is true. So, brother, there's nothing you could get angry at. Just listen, because, brother, you one of these three types of men. I'm not beating down on men, but this is the truth, and this is the fact. How you doing, Sister Twyla? There are only 3 types of men, sister, that's going to come your way. But you got to use your discernment in order to say, well, this is the man I need to be in a relationship with, a long-term relationship with. I'm going to list these 3 types. So listen carefully, sister. Listen, because when I put these 3 types of men in front of your face, you cannot go by your emotions. What I'm about to talk about is critical that you do not go by your emotion. Brothers, you need to make sure what type of man you are so you can limit yourself to one type of man that I'm about to present. Now, the first type of man, sister, that you going to run in front of, and this is the most common type of man that you're going to be exposed to. This type of man is what is called a worldly man. A worldly man. Most of the men that you're going to see in this world are worldly men. These men travel the broad way. They don't travel the straight and narrow. They would travel the broad way. These type of men, the worldly man is defined as devoted to this world and its pursuits rather than to religion or spiritual affairs, worldly possession and pleasure. The key thing about a worldly man, my sister, is their pursuit. You got to listen to their pursuit, because every man that come into this world, he's coming in, either he's going to follow God or he's not. So, and then there's a gray area too. I'm going to get that gray area shortly. So a man is either going to be basically to the extreme, to the right or the left. He's going to either be worldly or he's going to be this other type. I'm not going to tell you that yet, but we're going to talk about the worldly type. These type of men, sister, when you listen to their conversation, it's always about worldly things. So that's why you got to be able to listen, sister. It's always about worldly things. These type of men, they are all about, you can hear these type of men talking most of the time. They talk about possessions most of the time. When we talk about possession, we'll talk about, you hear a lot of men say, it's all about the money. It's all about the money. It's all about get. The worldly man is always have the mindset of me, myself, and I. You got to listen to this. These type of men, they're going to always say me, myself, and I. You would rarely hear them say we, us, and our, because most of the worldly men, they're not leaders. Even though they might be in a leadership position, they are leaders in this world and this world affair. When you listen to them, and not only listen to them, you can observe them. Remember, you could tell a tree by the fruits it bear, and you're going to see his fruits. He's going to talk mostly about worldly things. That's all he's going to talk about. All the time, every time, because it's in him. That seed is in him. He held a worldly seed. So these type of men are, it's sad to say, a lot of women, and sad to say, some of you sisters, you get tantalized by some of these guys. How you doing, Sister Sherry Smith? Some of you sisters, you get tantalized by worldly men. What do I mean by it? A lot of you sisters are focused on what a man can do for you. Sister, you don't supposed to be looking at what a man could do for you. You're supposed to be looking at who this man is, why he's here, and where he's going. When this man approach you, you need to know who he is, why he's here, and where he's going, because it's very critical. Sister, when you get with a man, you need to know whether or not this man is going to be a leader. You need to see whether this man is going to have the head of the house characteristics. A worldly man could be the head of the house. He's the head of the house based on probably his tax returns. But in front of God, he's not truly the head of a house. A worldly man can never be truly the head of a house. He cannot. He can give you all the world things. He can give you like what After 7 would say. I will give you the sun, the moon, the stars in the mountain. I give you the world and all the things that you dream of. That's all he can produce to you. And let me tell you something, sister. When you get with a worldly man, he could satisfy your taste just a little bit, but you're going to feel some emptiness in you. He could do everything with money, but you still gonna feel empty because he just don't have that certain thing that's in him. These type of men, they could show you good times according to the world. Okay, he could fly you to all cross seas. He could buy you fancy things. He can make sure you're not broke. He can make sure your hair's done, everything. He can make sure you got the biggest house. He can make sure all these worldly things. Let me give you an example, sister. When Satan tempted Jesus, the last thing that he tempted Jesus with was the worldly possession. Satan told Jesus, if you bow down to me, I will give you all of this. Satan will talk about the world, but Jesus rebuked it. Jesus did not want the world because, see, Jesus was living for the world coming after, not this world. So, sister, when you get with a man, you don't supposed to just focus on the here and now. Now, some things of the world, it's good. Don't get me wrong. But you don't need no man that's going to be worldly focused. They could do a whole bunch of worldly things for you. But as far as what I'm about to get to shortly, he cannot do it. Which leads to a spiritual man. Now, those of you that are coming in, tonight's topic is 3 types of men that a woman must know about. I just expounded, not explained, what a worldly man is. Now, the second type of man you sister can run into is what is called a spiritual man. Now, what is a spiritual man? A spiritual man is defined as one who is characterized by the leading of the Holy Spirit. This man is characterized by he's being led by the Spirit of God. Just like when Jesus got baptized, it said that the Spirit led him into the wilderness. A man that has the Spirit of God, he's going to be led into the wilderness of this world. You will be able, sister, to use your discernment when it comes to a spiritual man. The only way you're going to know that's a spiritual man, you yourself, sister, have to have the Spirit of God in you. You see, sister, if you have the Spirit of God in you, you're going to have what is called wisdom. You're going to have what is called knowledge. You're going to have what is called understanding. And most of all, you're going to have discernment. With the knowledge that the Lord give you, sister, he's going to give you wisdom first. So, sister, when you encounter the Lord about a man, you have to pray to God, give me wisdom on this particular man. So the knowledge that you have, because most of you, sister, got experience with dealing with men. So the Lord wisdom, it's going to use the knowledge that you have. The knowledge that you have, his Spirit going to pull in your understanding. And with your understanding, you going to have discernment. Whereas you can see through all that crap some of these guys say to you. Because most of the guys that are going to come to you, sister, are going to be talking about crap. And like I said, most of the guys that approach you are going to be worldly men. So a spiritual man, you're going to hear this man talking about he's going to be serious-minded. He's going to be a man that is not going to come to you with a whole bunch of confusion. You know why he's not going to come to you with a whole bunch of confusion? Because the Bible clearly say that the Lord is not the author of confusion, but of peace. A man that is a spiritual man, he's going to come to you with a peaceful demeanor. He's going to be peaceful. He's not going to be forceful, but he's going to be a man. He's going to have a backbone. This man, you would hear him say a lot of things about Jesus. He might not talk to you about Jesus 24/7, 7 days a week. He's going to talk. He's going to tell you some things about Jesus. He's going to be on point by Jesus. He's going to, a worldly man, sister, a worldly man, listen to me carefully. A worldly man cannot love you like a spiritual man. The only thing a worldly man can give you is the word good, but he cannot give you love because the worldly man does not understand love. A worldly man way of love is buying you things and doing stuff like that. A spiritual man, he think it's something beyond buying you something. A spiritual man, he think it's something about your soul, sister. He think about you according to your soul first and your flesh. Okay, he going to concentrate on your soul first. A spiritual man going to look at you and say, I want this woman to be saved with me. I want this woman to partake in this walk with me. This woman, she's going to walk by me. She's not going to walk in front of me because I'm going to lead her. I'm going to protect her. She's not going to walk behind me because I don't see her as walking behind me. I see her as walking by me. She is on the team. This woman, I understand that God created this woman for me. He did not create me for her, but God created this woman for me, just like he did Adam. Adam understood clearly that Eve was created for him. A spiritual man will understand that a woman, you sister, was created for him. A spiritual man, this man, he's going to be very inclined to know as much about you as possible. A spiritual man, he's going to be somewhat like Jesus. Jesus knows the number of hairs on your head. When I said the numbers of hairs on your head, that's his detail. A spiritual man going to be very detailed when it comes to you. He's gonna know for sure your needs, and he's gonna know some of your wants. But a spiritual man, he's gonna focus more on your need. Your first need is your soul. This man is gonna be concerned with your emotions. This man is gonna be concerned with your will. This man is going to be concerned about your thinking. This man is going to be concerned about your body. This man is going to be concerned about you totality. A spiritual man going to be thinking about you from your spirit because he knows that God, Son, Jesus live in you. He's thinking about your soul, the real you, and he's thinking about your body. The spiritual man is thinking about the three levels of you, sister. Your spirit, your soul, and your body. A worldly man, he only thinks about your body. Then he thinks about how you think and how you feel on the inside. A spiritual man thinks inside out. A worldly man thinks outside in. So you, sister, you got to be able to discern whether this man is a worldly man or a spiritual man. A spiritual man, sister, this man, he's going to lead you before God. A worldly man will never lead you before God. You will find yourself, you, sister, will find yourself talking more about Jesus than this man. When it comes to public worship, you may find yourself going to public worship more than that man. This man going to, a worldly man, he's going to find other things to do, and he'll get back with you when you come from worship service, public worship service. He might go, let me tell you what some worldly men will do compared to a spiritual man. A worldly man may go to where your congregation worldly worship. He may go with you for a while, but his heart, his mind, and his heart, his will is not there. He just doing it to make you feel good. But his mind and heart is not on the Lord. And sister, you need to, some of you sisters, you in your 20s, you in your 30s, your 40s, your 50s, even some of you 60 plus. Some of you sisters, you got to understand your discernment. If this man is never talking to you about Jesus, just think about it. Some of you sisters, you're entertaining a man right now. You never hear him talk about Jesus. You need to ask yourself why he doesn't talk about Jesus. You need to ask yourself the question, why I never seen this man pray? You need to ask yourself this, why I never seen this man read God's word? You need to ask yourself, why this man never say, come follow me as I follow Christ? That means his lifestyle. Even this man, if he was really into you, and he was real into your spirit, your soul, and your body, this man, when he goes to public worship, guess what? He's going to want you to go along with him, especially if you're just dating. If you're just dating, what that man is doing is taking you in front of not his family according to the flesh, his mama, his dad, his sister, brother, and children. He's taking you to his spiritual family. The spiritual family, sister, is more important than the fleshly family. You understand? So this man, if a man really, really care about you, sister, and this man say, if this man saying, I'm serious about you and I'm committed to you, guess what? He's going to not only take you in front of his fleshly family and his friends, he's going to take you to be introduced to his spiritual. That's the church. What is the church? The church is a group of called out people. That's what the church is. It's not a building. Some of you people think that church is a building. A church is not a building. The church is the people. You got to understand it. This type of man, and I have used this illustration before, a man that really cares for you, that's spiritual. I'm going to give you, sister, this. If you go out with a man, check this out, sister. If you go out with a man, you go to a restaurant with a man. If this man really is spiritual, he's going to be strategic how he sit in a restaurant. These are simple things. This man, he's going to sit whereas he facing the door. He's not going to sit whereas he facing the door because he's looking for somebody to catch him. No, he's looking because he's thinking about your protection. This man wants you to be able to eat in peace. So this man, he's going to constantly be looking around at the terrain because he's thinking about your protection. Sister Chandler said, you right, the church. That's right, sister. Thank you. He's going to be thinking about your protection. And another thing, some of you sisters, listen up to me. It's some simple things you can know about the fruit of this man. If you're about to eat a meal, this is very simple. Some of you sisters, if you're about to eat a meal, the man in front of you, does he ever take your hand and lead a prayer to God? If he don't take your hand and pray to God, does he ever pray? If he ain't got to take your hand and pray. Do he pray to God? Does he give thanks to the Lord in front of not only you, but other people? Does this man do this thing like open the door for you? Some simple stuff. Does he open the door for you? Does he get in contact with you sometime throughout the day just to see how you doing? He not contacting you because he wants something from you. He's contacting you to see how you doing. And do you need anything? He's not calling you because he wants something, because the spiritual man is thinking about we, us, and our, and the spiritual man is thinking more about you than himself. Because you see, a spiritual man is a giver. He's not a receiver. A worldly man is giving you something because he wants something from you. And you know what I mean. What most worldly men want from you, sister, you know exactly what most worldly men want from you. They would take you to a 5-star restaurant and all that kind of stuff, take you on a cruise and all that. Let me tell you something. So let me go back to the worldly man. Sister, do you think that worldly men just take you to 5-star restaurant, take you on cruises and all that kind of stuff just to be taking you? No. A worldly man is looking for something on the end. You understand? A spiritual man is not looking for something just on the end. A spiritual man is looking for something into eternity. A worldly man will marry you and he would think about what's going to happen to you if he dies. A spiritual man is thinking about you because when a spiritual man is in a relationship with you and decide to marry you and you agree to marry a spiritual man is going to make sure that you are set if he die before you. He's going to make sure you set up. Because you see, when I say a spiritual man, not only on the physical, if he dies, a spiritual man is looking for your soul, where your soul going to be. Worldly men ain't thinking about your soul. I'm telling you that right now. They're not thinking about your soul. They're thinking about your body and what you can do with your body, then how you feel and how you think. Spiritual men will think about your spirit, because they know, a spiritual man know that Jesus is inside of you. A spiritual man know that you are a daughter of God, like he's a son of God. A spiritual man look at your body as a very precious. A spiritual man don't want to use your body. You understand? A spiritual man don't want to use your body. A spiritual man is more thinking about how you are on the inside. Now we're going to go to a final man. I have told you about two types of men. I told you about the worldly man, and I told you about the spiritual man. The spiritual man is the one that is characterized by, led by the Spirit of God, okay? Now, this is a tricky man right here that I'm about to talk about now. This man is a carnal man. He's a carnal man. What is a carnal man? That's a C-A-R-N-A-L. A carnal man is defined as, now check this out. This is a tricky man, the carnal man. He is one, this man, he's actually born again. This man is actually born again. This man is actually in the family of God. But here's the contrast with a carnal man. But he lives and behaves as a man in a natural state, living according to the carnal or fleshly desires. Instead of following the lead of the Holy Spirit, he chooses to allow the lust of the eyes, the lust of the flesh, and the pride of life to tempt him, which produce ungodly works and the inability to grow in the spiritual maturity and discernment. You see, with a carnal man, he's flip-floppy. You think he believes in God, but he don't. Now, a carnal man, I'm going to give you a good example of a carnal man. Some preachers, not all preachers, listen to what I'm saying, some preachers. And not only some preachers going to lead to some men, but I'm going to tell you about this short. A good example of a carnal man is a preacher. Have you ever noticed, sister, that some preachers, they always talk about get. You ever notice a lot of preachers, they talk about money? You ever notice that? Jesus talked about money, but he didn't talk that much about money. Jesus' disciples talked about money, but they didn't talk that much about money. Because you know what Jesus said? A man's life does not, how should I say it? I'm going to paraphrase it. A man's life does not consist in his possessions. Most carnal men that are preachers, they easy to detect. Remember, I said that you could tell, Jesus said that you could tell a tree by the fruit that it bears, right? Their fruit is they're going to talk more about money and the prosperity way of living. You understand? Cheryl said so man 1 and man 3 have the same similarity. The spiritual man and the carnal man. Okay, you see, Cheryl, the worldly man and the spiritual man, they're distinct. The worldly man is basically thinking about the world. The worldly goods and possessions. They talk about the world all the time. You never really hear them talk about God. The spiritual man is a man that is following after the Spirit of the Lord. You will hear him and you will tell about his lifestyle. Another thing about carnal men, just listen to what they talk about the most. Listen to what they talk about. Some of you sisters, one key thing that worldly men talk about the most is sex. To you, they want your sex. That's what most worldly men gonna put. They ain't gonna talk about your soul in Jesus. They gonna talk about your body. Worldly men mostly talk about that's one key thing you could guarantee about worldly men. They're not gonna do nothing without getting something out of you. You see, worldly men think, I will invest in you, but I'm gonna get something out of you. Cheryl said, but the spiritual man, but not number 3. Okay, now we're going to the carnal man. The carnal man, this man is like, he's saved, But he confused you because he does a lot of worldly things. You can't really tell a carnal man because he actually is saved. But he does a lot of things how worldly men do it, and he will confuse you. You can't really put him in a category. You can't say he's saved. Even though saved men, spiritual men, they make everything, they fall on their faith, but they don't continue. This is the key thing. Spiritual men do not continue to do the same thing that will hurt you or mislead you. Worldly men will be straight out doing it, but the carnal men, they will be flip-flopping. They will flip-flop. And the carnal man, let me tell you, carnal men, they are about possession and what you have. You understand? And not only preachers, there are other men that go around acting like they're preachers, godly, but they continue to do a lot of things that you have a question mark about. Now, everyone knows, even when John wrote in the book, he said that every man, if a man said that he has no sin, the truth is not in him. Spiritual men have sin. And spiritual men know it, but they're not going to waddle in sin. Carnal men will do it. That's right, Chain. Don't need no flip-flop man. But you see, you need a man, and that's a key thing. Thank you, Chain. A man needs to be consistent. You need to see that this man is consistent. A carnal man is not consistent. He flip-flop. He talk about Jesus over here, and he talk about let's get it on over here most of the time. He's going to be half spiritual, and he's going to be half worldly. But you need a man that you're going to be consistent in one thing. Worldly men are consistent in being worldly. Spiritual men are consistent in being spiritual. Carnal men flip-flop. These the tricky type of men. So, sister, that's why it's vital that you know the difference between the three men. Worldly men, spiritual men, and carnal men. The best man for you, sister, is naturally a spiritual man. A spiritual man does not, listen to what I'm about to say. A worldly man definitely don't know how to love you because they think if they buy you stuff, that's love. A carnal man will buy you stuff and do things, but he don't know what love is. Now, a spiritual man, he's the only man out of three that knows what love is. Why do I say that? Because a spiritual man, he knows that God is love. A spiritual man, he will admit, I don't know how to love you. A spiritual man does not know how to love a woman on his own. A spiritual man allows Jesus to work through him to love a woman. You understand? Worldly man will never know how to love you. He know how to buy you. A carnal man, he know how to like you and buy you. A worldly man, he's thinking first of all about your spirit, because he know Lord are live in you. He's thinking about your soul. And your soul is your emotions, your will, and your thought process, your mind. He also think about your body. A spiritual man, he looks at your body not in a lustful way, sister. If a spiritual man is into you, I'm going to tell you something let me tell you something. You won't hear spiritual men saying this to you. You won't hear a spiritual man say this, sister, you sexy. Spiritual men are not going to dress you. If a spiritual man see you, sister, looking nice, a spiritual man would say something like, sister, you look really nice today. That's beautiful. That's beautiful what you got on. You really make that look well. That's what a spiritual man would say. A worldly man would say, you look sexy. A carnal man would say, you look sexy and you look beautiful at the same time. So you got to be able to listen to him. A spiritual man is going to always be thinking about we, us, and our. A worldly man going to be thinking about me, myself, and I. A carnal man is going to be thinking about we, us, and our, me, myself, and I. He's going to be thinking about the whole thing. Me, myself, and I, we, us, and our. That's a carnal man. A carnal man, my sister, is double-minded. That's right. He jumped from both sides of the fence. That's right, Chang Chang. He played both sides of the fence. A carnal man. So, my sister, I'm telling you, your best bet for your life, for little confusion from an imperfect man, because all the men are imperfect, but sister, to spare you a whole lot of heartbreak, to spare you a whole lot of unnecessary stuff in a relationship, to spare you from guessing whether or not that man love you. Because you see, with a spiritual man, sister, you going to know he love you. You're not going to feel it. You're not going to just go by how you feel based on he does this or that. No. A spiritual man, you're going to know it. You will never guess it. A worldly man, you will guess sometime. A carnal man, he's going to have you confused. The only man that could love you how you need to be loved, sister, is a spiritual man. Because like I say, a spiritual man, he's going to pray to God. He gonna pray to God through Jesus. He's gonna say something like, Lord, teach me how to love this woman, how she needs to be loved. He's not gonna say how she wants to be loved. He's gonna go to Jesus and say, Lord, I don't know how to love her. You see, a spiritual man, he's honest. When you hear these other men and stuff, when you hear men on YouTube and all this other stuff, these worldly men, they always have the answer on how to love a woman. But if you ever noticed this by these relationship coaches and stuff like that, they all about games. They all about you tell her this, she'll respond this way, don't this. They never tell you, sister, listen, they never tell other men that, you see, these relationship coach men, they act like they got all the answers. No man know how to love a woman. Let me just put it out there. No man knows how to love a woman how she needs to be loved. The only man that knows how to love a woman, he got to learn. A man is not born knowing how to love a woman. A man has to be taught how to love a woman. A man has to learn how to love a woman. A man has to be guided in how to love a woman. And the only way a man is going to be taught, the only way a man is going to learn, and the only way a man is going to be shown how to love a woman is with the assistance of the Spirit of God, Jesus, in his life. Jesus know what you see, sister, you be shortchanging yourself when you're dealing with these other men. The spiritual man, he knows he have to go to God for his gasoline. It's just like when your car is being depleted. You need gas, right? You need the right type of gas. You understand? You don't put diesel in a Ford, one of those little Ford. You don't do that. You put a diesel in a certain type of car. You put premium in a certain type of car. You put unleaded in a certain type of car. You put regular in a excuse me, it's a reason why you put certain gas in certain type of car. That's how it is, sister. A man has to put a certain type of gas into him in order to meet your needs. You understand? To meet your needs. So the spiritual man has to get his gasoline from God himself. Worldly men and carnal men, they're going to get it from the world. The carnal man going to try to get a lift from God, and then they're going to get a lift from the world. Because, you see, the thing about worldly men, this is what worldly men do. Worldly men let the world dictate what they're going to do to you. You see, worldly men, they will wait worldly men, they like to get you stuff on traditional days, like Valentine's Day, your birthday, your anniversary, and they might do some just because things, right? The carnal man, he would do some just because things and traditional things. But you see, the thing about a spiritual man, he's all about just because throughout the year. He's going to make sure your needs are taken care of and your wants. You see, when a spiritual man goes somewhere, he's going to be thinking about you all the time. Spiritual men going to reach out to you more than you reach out to them. You know why a spiritual man going to reach out to you more? The reason why, because you see, when the Bible clearly show that Jesus came into this world, you see, Jesus came in and Jesus was doing the active part of reaching out, right? Jesus knocking on the door. You see, a man that found out to God through his son Jesus going to do the same thing as Jesus did. You see, a spiritual man, he is going to continue to knock on your door. If you notice about Jesus, Jesus always asks people, what do you need? A spiritual man going to do that too. Jesus know what you need, but he's still going to ask you. A spiritual man know what you need, but he's going to ask you. He's going to constantly be about you. A spiritual man, a spiritual man wants you to be able to lay down with a smile on your face. But in order to have a smile on your face, a spiritual man going to make sure that your heart is smiling. If your heart is smiling, it's going to show in your face. That's right. Jesus is concerned about the need of people. And that's how a spiritual man is. He's going to be concerned about your need. And let me tell you another thing about a spiritual man before I go out. This is a fact. This is a fact, sisters. If you have a spiritual man, and this is something very simple, a spiritual man, especially if you are in a serious, committed, and covenant relationship, when it comes time for you to retire, when I say retire, I'm talking about laying down in the bed. I'm telling you, listen to your brother Tony. A spiritual man is going to caress you every night. I didn't say have sex with you. A spiritual man is going to caress you every night. A spiritual man is going to put his arms around you and cuddle you. If he doesn't put his arms around you, he's going to touch you. Throughout the night, a spiritual man going to make sure he's touching you some kind of way. Even if a spiritual man turn his back to you, he's going to push up so he can be touching you at all times. Unless you pull away from him. A worldly man, he want to do all the touching basically when he having sex with you. A carnal man, he will touch you every now and then. He wants to hug you every now and then, and he wants to separate from you every now and then. He doesn't care. But you see, a spiritual man, he's going to be conscious of it. And sister, when you get a spiritual man, you going to get listen to what your brother Tony said. When you get a spiritual man, you going to be accustomed to when that man get in the bed with you, that man that you're serious, committed, and have a covenant relationship, you got to be accustomed to that man getting in the bed every night, and it ain't got to be by sex. You're going to notice this man going to touch you every night. I'm telling you, every night. When you get up in the morning, that man going to make sure after he said good morning, God, he's going to say good morning to you. If you leave out the house before him, he's going to reach out to you. If he leave before you, he's going to reach out to you. See, a spiritual man, he's going to make sure everything is good with you. He's going to constantly make sure everything is good over and over and over again. Not the worldly man and not the carnal man. So, sister, you got to decide this. Do you want a worldly man? Do you want a carnal man, or do you need a spiritual man? Remember I said want for the worldly man and the carnal man. And then I said need for the spiritual man. That's up to you, sister. You got to make your choice what type of man you want to roll with. And with that said, I love you, my brothers. I love you, my sister. But sister, make sure it's the spiritual man, okay? He's not perfect. He never will be until Jesus comes. He will fall in his faith. He may piss you off sometimes. But overall, you're looking for consistency. You're looking for that man to love you, okay? I love you, brothers. I love you, sister. Peace out.